Warning, this review will contain spoilers from the actual series. If you are okay with this, please proceed. I have seen a whole lot of anime, and I mean a lot of anime. I've been watching anime since the age of 12, and I can wholeheartedly say that I have read and watched so many anime and manga titles that I can't even remember most of them. But never have I ever seen anything quite like Killer 7. Hi, my name is Koa, and today I want to talk about this in particular series and talk about why I think it stands out from the rest, apart from originating from a Chinese studio, of course. I want to talk about this series because even a year later, after watching it for the first time back in early 2019, it is a 10-episode series that I have yet to forget. The plot for the series right off the bat isn't anything too crazy. It's about a young man named Seven, and he's pretty much an assassin who has to pay off a vast debt. But the thing is, he's kind of trash at his job. Well, yes, this is about as simple as a plot as you can get, and immediately stood out to me because the main character's goal didn't really match the common tropes I was used to seeing. He wasn't trying to become the greatest Death Reaper Kage King of Soul Society or something crazy like that, and his goal was a simple one. This immediately, right off the bat, piqued my interest. While the story does start off as a comedic story, the series really begins to define itself after episode 4. While it does maintain its comedic element throughout the season, Killer 7 begins to surprise you with the occasional life lesson or impactful message here and there in the later episodes. While yes, Killer 7 is meant to be funny, I believe it is that and so much more, and I think this anime really defined that on episode 6, which till this day happens to be one of my favorite animated episodes of all time. Spoilers are about to come up, so I recommend skipping over this part if you haven't seen the series yet. But basically, this episode is about a cute young girl who the MC is hired to assassinate, but before he can do anything, she confronts him personally and says that he must do 10 things on her bucket list before he's allowed to kill her, to which he reluctantly agrees. Together they do the most insane things together, like dine and dash out of a fancy restaurant, run around the street naked, although technically he was the only one who did, she pretty much just recorded, and they even flew. At the end of the day, the two ended up back in the same place that they met, and the girl reveals to him that she was actually the one who set up the contract to have her killed in the first place. And the reason why is because she is dying of cancer, and she would rather die by being assassinated than die in a hospital bed sickly and all alone. For a comedy series to feature such a serious scene, it does a great job of making you forget the series is supposed to be comedic in the first place. Not only does this scene make you feel a connection with the characters, but its impact on the writing style of the story stays consistent throughout the remainder of the show. What I like about this series is the fact that it has a small cast, but each character always has an important impact on how the story is told. They don't just show up once and disappear, and even in episodes where they aren't the main character that he's interacting with, they always tend to make a small cameo appearance. All the characters are likable, enjoyable, and each one of them has a personality trait or individual quirk, which makes it easy to separate one from another. While some characters are indeed more interesting than others, each character plays some significance to the plot and aren't just filler characters that you later on forget and or don't care about. This is where I believe the beauty of this series, despite how goofy it is, resides. And if it weren't for the characters being written in the way they are, I don't think this series would be as enjoyable as it was for me. Being a Chinese animated series, it's safe to say that the animation style is not a typical one. It's very cartoony, and it isn't exactly the most detailed or beautiful art style in the world, but it stands out among the rest, and I think that art style is very iconic for what it is. It isn't meant to be taken too seriously, and I think the art style and animation does a really good job of making this clear, but at the same time, the animation and art style is good enough to be taken seriously when it wants to be. While it is by no means the best, I believe that the art style and animation is very iconic, and each character has their own unique design and look that doesn't make them all look the same or overly similar. To sum it all up, Killer 7 is a series that I very much enjoyed. While it may not be a masterful work of art like the Berserk manga, it did its job in keeping me entertained, and I think many people should give it a shot, especially if they are a viewer who wants to try something new. I don't have any complaints about the series, and I hope that it focuses on doing its own thing even as I progress onward into Season 2.